channel.
The No Pressure channel presents the May event. The May event is where we have you, our supporters, decide who's going to face off in what category, and what genre. And on today's episode, we have two very unique, interesting characters facing off in a cinema match. Now, a cinema match is based on characters that were based in film, so movie characters. And on today's episode, we have Neo from The Matrix going against Dredd from Dredd's franchise, or Dredd the movie. The newer version, not the older one, with Karl Urban this time. Yeah. All right, so here are the basic rules. Number one, have fun. My word is not bulletproof. It's not guaranteed. Doesn't mean that everything is solid. It just means I'm making a point, making my own argument. You guys can agree or disagree with it. Leave it down in the comment section below. Just be respectful. Number two, you guys had to be the ones to decide which one was going to face off and which. And you guys voted in the polls, and you guys picked these two characters to face off. So it's going to be an interesting one. And lastly, we have to have a clear winner. Usually we have two sides, and then we let you guys decide which argument sounded better. But in this one, we're just going to make one solid point, and that's it. One's going to win this one. Okay. So here are the characters', abilities. In one corner, set in the future filled with psychics and drug lords, stood a special police force designed to bring justice and order to the city, and the best of the best happened to be none other than Dredd himself. Dredd was the law, jury, and executioner in a sort of way, where decisions were usually based on them instead of the whole process. At this time in the force, the man has been entitled to the best tactical tech equipment money could buy. His handgun comes with variety of extra gears attached to make it like no ordinary gun. Lawgiver MK2 Hotshot. It comes with a tiny fireball that can go inside your mouth and burn your insides. High X, which can blow through walls using a tiny hole opening. Fingerprint scanner, that placed in the wrong hands will blow the hand right off while holding it. The gun can disperse little flames that rain down on you and burn everything it touches. His helmet provides protection against bullets and also helps him strategize against the enemy, survive a trapped environment against a small army of criminals, and even managed to escape one of those military-based heavy machine guns from dicing him into pieces. His bike also carries its own set of weapons to stop bad guys off their track. His years in the police force gives him a tactical mind and a resilient spirit. On the other corner, entering the realm of the Matrix film, we have the one they call Neo. Not only did Neo take the pill, he managed to also be given the gift of the One. The One was prophesized to stop the war between man and machine. This man carries a variety of superpowers. The man can fly like Superman, communicate with artificial intelligence, stop bullets just by placing his hands in a stop motion. He can leap on walls, leap incredibly high, bring a person back to life in the Matrix, has the knowledge of every martial art move via Bluetooth, durable enough to break through walls and bricks, stop a virus from taking over his body, fight off a small army of Smiths, and so much more. Neo doesn't need any weapons. He is the weapon. Alright, so now we're going to talk about the end game between both characters. So let's talk about Dredd character. So I think the way he could win this fight against Neo is pretty much a close-up fight. Distance is not going to be the best way to do it. Yeah, maybe he can get a few shots in, but again, Neo can just stop bullets. So yeah, that'd be tricky to do. Close enough might do him a much better odds. Now, why would I say that? Let's talk about it. First off, Dredd has a bike. If he can get that bike to get drive right to Neo, and Neo stops it and catapults Dredd right into him, maybe Neo will stop Dredd from hitting him, but at the same time, Dredd might get that opening, that one shot to get the gun and pull it out and then shoot him with one of those special bullets that does some kind of flare weaponry. Or kind of flare attack, and then he might be able to get his face, or at least get a good shot in there. He might even be able to get one in his mouth before, well, maybe not likely in his mouth because Neo's not going to have his mouth open, but the other things, like he could just burn his face or do something that might create Neo to be hurt. Now, Neo is still human. If you remember in the sequel, they mentioned even though he's really good and he has crazy power abilities, he still bleed blood. He still bled, and he said, you see, he's still only human. So at the end of the day, I do believe that Dredd still has a really good shot if he gets a close-up range shot. Distance-wise, he wouldn't be able to unless he can create a diversion using his bike again, maybe to stop Neo from seeing him coming and then get that one good shot in. Maybe Neo might not stop the bullet. Maybe he can have a special bullet that uses like mini little missiles that kind of shoot at all different angles, so it makes it more difficult for Neo to stop and pinpoint all of them. There is that possibility, but again, close range I do believe Dredd has a better shot at doing this. Now obviously on the other side, Neo has a lot of things going in his favor. I mean, he has superpowers, for crying out loud. Guy can fly, all that stuff. If he wanted to, he could just lift Dredd up in the air and then drop him. He could, remove his weapon out of his hand. I mean, in a one-on-one combat fight, Dredd does have special force tactical skills, but when it comes to Neo has the infinite amount of knowledge and martial arts skills, and martial arts is going to beat any military-based kind of tactic style, I'm going to say, at least. So ultimately, who would win this fight? I'm going to give this one to Neo. Come on. Neo's superpowers is going to beat Dredd. Dredd, yeah, he's a special law enforcement. Yeah, he has some really cool gear and equipment, but Neo can remove the gear. Neo can hit him with one good punch and then make his heart stop, or maybe get his heart pop his heart out of his chest just with that one good blow. Neo could do a lot of things. He could stop the bullets from coming his way. There's just so many things where Neo has to his favor compared to Dredd. Dredd does have a lot of special weapons, but Neo has these superpowers. And the superpowers are always going to overpower somebody with whatever arsenal they have, because he could just stop the bullets, remove anything out of his hands, or he could just attack him straight on and beat him. At the end of the day, Neo just has a lot more going for him compared to Dredd, sadly, in this fight. So ultimately, the winner of this match, of the May event's 2023 cinema match, Neo. And as always, no press, man. We really appreciate you guys. Much love. Catch you guys later. Peace.